international publications like the Oxford Business Group and the Oil and Gas Year. Her career with the UK-based designing agency Fabianca from 2016 gave her insights on the best practices in global media relations. Her main focus on this period was media business development and client acquisition in diverse industries. She currently works as a media specialist in Go Alive Media, WLL Bahrain, where she orients the leading brands, celebrities, and other businesses to gain the best exposure on the digital radio and print platforms. She has completed MPhil in English Literature and studied BA English Literature at Union Christian College, Alva. On behalf of my colleagues of the Department of Commerce and Union Christian College, I wholeheartedly welcome you to the webinar. Ma'am, it's an honor and privilege for us to have you as our speaker today. I'm also delighted to welcome all the participants for today's webinar. Now, without further ado, I'm turning the time over to our speaker. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita, and thank you, Department of Commerce, for inviting me for this webinar. It's always a privilege to be part of my colleagues' initiatives. And good morning, everyone, and I'm happy to be with you today. So today we are going to discuss on the best media relations practices during COVID-19. So why this topic? Because COVID-19, it has affected all aspects of our life, all businesses, all industries unanimously. There is no question on that. So how it has affected the media relations and media relations agencies, that is our topic. So the initial effect was that as all other industries, the media agencies were drastically affected in the beginning. So they also started the remote working far from their agencies, not meeting with their clients. And as you know, whenever the crisis arises, the first department to get hit in any of the industries is the marketing department. The budget will be cut down because as a step to do the cost reduction, the budget for the marketing will be cut down, and there will not be any more budget for the advertising, any more budget for the marketing. So that is the marketers and the agencies, marketing agencies and the advertisers' job to do without any budget. They have to get the news out. They have to promote their brands. They have to build the branding. How to do that during COVID-19? And this is going to be an uncertain time, and there is no period like, okay, this will be ending in 2 months or this will be ending in 1 month. We can start that. This has to go on. As all marketers and advertisers know that there is no stopping for branding and advertising, even during this COVID-19. How to do that? So it's like there are no new rules now. This is like a whole new challenge. They have to adapt new ways, new methods, and this is there are no rules written. So how to do that? The first thing to choose which media platform they have to promote their brand or their product or get their news out. Okay, there is visual media, one thing, there is radio, there is the second one, which are not much affected because of COVID-19. Of course, there are some limitations, but they are not much affected because of COVID-19. But print, where most of the news were carried out, that is drastically affected due to the pandemic. And print is always, for generations, print is the method much preferred by public, especially in the Asian, Middle Eastern, and Western areas. People prefer to read news. We all know that. We all are having the habit of reading the newspaper first thing in the morning. And due to the pandemic, the print circulations drastically got affected, and they reduced the printing cost, they reduced the paper. And where else to get the authentic information? The first support was for the social media. Many of the people, they started to rely on the social media platforms. Of course, there was a rise in the people who follow the social media. And The Facebook advertisements, Google ads, and sponsored ads, they were all on rise in the initial months of COVID-19. Soon, there started to be a decline. Like after 2, 3 months, there was a decline in the social media platforms also. Why? Because there was no reliable news. Like sometimes what happens, there will be fake news getting spread in the social media platforms, and sometimes there is no authenticity for the news. And sooner or later, the brands and the agencies they stop advertising in the social media platforms also. What is the next medium for advertisement and building their brand value? That is none other than the digital media, the online news media platforms. So it's first of all, it's very difficult to convince the brands or their clients or the companies to advertise in the digital media platforms, because this is entirely something new and not many people much explored that area. So it was the duty of the agencies or the marketers or advertisers to convince the people who spend money for that. And as I said before, there is not much budget left for advertising. And the next step they have to do is to convince the journalists who write in these digital media platforms. How to convince them? That is the biggest challenge that advertising agencies and advertisers and marketers are facing during this time. First and foremost, choosing the best digital media platform for their brands. How to choose that? Because there are n number of digital media platforms and all of them are publishing news on a regular basis. Which is the first one? Which will be the one which is getting the most number of readers? Which is the one which is most relied by the readers? That is how to find this out. That is easy to find out. Just yes. Any questions?
No, ma'am, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so how to identify the best digital media platform? So it is not a major task. Just spend 5 to 10 minutes. There is something called domain authority, because the service providers like Moz and other channels, they are giving the authentic views on the domain authority. And digital media outlets, whichever is having a ranking more than 70, they are considered to be the best digital media outlets to put your brand name out. Anything less than the domain authority of 70, it's not worth considering. And what is this domain authority? How this is analyzed actually, how they are doing this domain authority checking. It is based on the number of authentic information published by that website, as well as the number of regular articles published in that website, as well as the number of readers. The more the readers, more the domain authority. More the number of authentic sources, authentic article, more the number of a domain authority. More the number of articles published, regularly published, then the domain authority will be high. So these are the platforms, like you can see a number of platforms which is listed above 70. These are the platforms to be better chosen for your brand. And if you are doing, for example, if you are doing a branding for a healthcare sector, or if you are doing for an energy sector, just Google which are the topics related to these articles are published in the recent days, maybe after January 2020. Find those articles, check their domain authority. If they are above 70, approach that journalist. And how to approach that journalist? It's easy. Most of the websites give their journalist email address or contact details, Twitter account, everything in their website itself. Approach them. Otherwise, you can also go to some email finders like business email finder websites like Hunter.io, any other websites, and check the domain authority. Sorry, check the contact details of the journalist and approach them. But you find the digital media outlet, you find the relevant journalist, you find the contact details, but how to pitch that? If you are checking the journalist Twitter accounts and social media accounts on these days, you can see that many journalists they started jeering, they started making fun of PR people or advertisers or marketers. They are approaching them on these days. Why? Because the journalists are having so many reduced working hours. Their working hours have drastically reduced. And many of the freelance journalists, they are on a furlough. They are put on hold. They cannot publish any of the news in the recent days because of the pandemic. And they don't want to publish any news which is not relevant to the public. And COVID-19 is the hottest topic 24/7 for the local, national, and international media. So whichever is related to whichever brand we are promoting, that has to be related to COVID-19 in one aspect or the another. So these are some of the topics which I am planning to discuss here, like from different industries, how you can relate these your products into the COVID-19. For example, if your client is from the healthcare sector, so initial stages, whichever journalist you are approaching, the journalist will say, "Oh, okay, I'm not doing anything other than COVID-19, anything other than related to COVID-19 vaccine or COVID-19 helpline. I'm not going to do that." But these days, as you know, they started because some months have passed since the COVID pandemic has started affecting. So I think even the journalists, they have started fed up like writing about COVID-19. And for me, I am a journalist. I started as a journalist and I am on the advertising agency side also. So I know how they will feel like after writing the same news for some time, unless or until there is any breaking news, they will also start getting some new news for their readers. The readers also will get fed up. So these days there is an interest in writing about mental health, then heart diseases, and something or other related to COVID-19. They started fitness. They started promoting. For example, I can say one of the brands which we have recently promoted, that is a mental health fitness brand. So it was nothing related to COVID-19, mental health fitness. So how we related, we said, okay, COVID-19, so many people are locked down. So why don't you, and it's affecting many people's mental health drastically. So why don't you have this mental health fitness band so that will assess the mental health of the wearers. And it's a unique product, you can promote that. And as soon as we sent out the pitch, something related to COVID-19, but not exactly COVID-19, people started picking up the news and started promoting. Similarly for sports. Sports events are cancelled everywhere, like everywhere drastically it has been cancelled. But how to promote a sportswear or a sports athletic brand during this time? You can say that okay, this sports brand, for example, sports events have been cancelled drastically, but this sports outfit, it will remind you of the good olden days and it will prepare you for the days to come. Something in that line. And for example, if you are looking into the Manorama, for example, Kerala site, Manorama website, they are regularly publishing the news related to cricket. And celebrity news is always the in thing. So something like that line, if you can promote for the sports industry, that will be easily get picked up. And another industry is the consumer industry. Consumer industry, it's easy to promote because whatever pandemic is hitting, their main topic will always be on the product. There will be regular readers for fashion, celebrity news, kitchen, and you know the fashion makeup items. Whoever is using that, they will be regular. There is no stock for that. So, of course, you can try sending them the samples, the products and samples, because the editors always like, the journalists will always like some token of gratitude, like, you know, something to review and something to check it out by themselves. So you can always try sending them the samples and products in that aspect. And check before you are sending, because just not randomly send to any of the journalists. Check before you are sending and make sure that they are interested in having the product. Then it's easy to get your product out there. through the news. And another thing to pitch is the business media. Business media, people are always talking about the economical impact of COVID-19. So there are many topics you can pitch into the business media journalist, like the employee impact of COVID-19, how it is affecting the employee benefits, how the employees are suffering, what is the employer's situation on that. And another aspect is that how it is affecting, how it is causing layoffs, how to curb that. All these topics are always in thing during this COVID-19 period, and people are continuously searching for that. And the supply chain, what are the crises faced by them during this time, and how is the logistics and trade sector is getting affected during COVID-19. All these topics are always much preferred by the journalists, business media journalists, because this is the time they want to get the news out to the public. So whenever you are pitching a news or a brand, your brand to the journalist, always keep in mind what is not for the journalist, what is relevant for the journalist. Always remember what is relevant for the public. For example, even if you are pitching a furniture, just imagine not how it is useful for the journalist, how it is relevant for the public. And another aspect is CSR messages and crowdfunding. Whichever product which is related to CSR messages, corporate social responsibility messages. For example, if you are promoting a product and that brand is contributing a significant amount of their sales to the public for any charity activities, that is always picked up during this time, because this is the time people expect kindness and positive actions, and actions that is for a greater good. So whenever there is a corporate responsibility message and there is a message for greater good, and some charity initiatives by the brand, always highlight them. That will be highly picked up by the journalist than just sending the information. And also the news related to technology industry, like how the remote work is getting promoted, what are the best video conferencing tools. For example, you all know that this Zoom info, Zoom, when it came to, Zoom is one of the apps that is much used during this lockdown period, which I think almost everyone is using that these days. So as soon as Zoom came up and it became popular, there were many news related to that, why it is safe to use, why it is not safe to use, how to use, and what are the precautions to be taken. All this kind of information related to technology, like similarly, what is the best video conferencing tool for COVID-19, and which is the best whiteboard to be used during COVID-19. All these technological news, you can take it out. And another thing which is trending during this time is that if your client is from the energy sector, oil and gas sector, always remember that energy sector is the most affected during COVID-19. Massive layoffs are going around, and whatever you are writing in this aspect, whatever you are pitching in this aspect, it should be related to the policies, policy making, and implications, and this will be immediately picked up. So some of the industries which I have touched is the healthcare industry, and the technological industry, business industry, consumer industry, and another thing, the last but not the least, is the entertainment industry. Entertainment industry now, as you know, like most of the films have been stored, and many of them are not producing new films, but still there is celebrity news is always much preferred by people, because they all want to know the behind the scenes stories and what is coming up, and the shows which is featured in Netflix, Amazon, and they all are in the prime demand. So if you have to promote some of your like some of your clients are from the entertainment industries, you can build in that aspect, like how they have how they are doing their future movies, the characters which they have done earlier movies, the behind the scenes stories about those characters. So like that, they can, if, for example, if your client is a actor or an actress, you can always keep them in the limelight by sharing some unknown stories so far done. So they will be always in people's mind like that. Then once you curate your content, so the things you have done so far, it's like identifying the media platform, that is the digital media, and identifying the outlets, the digital media outlets by checking the domain authority, the page authority, and then identifying the journalist. One more thing to note is that you might have seen some of the articles written by the journalist maybe by 2020 January, but always go to the journalist profile and check that they're still writing. Some of the journalists, if you are sending some emails, you will get some rude reply saying that I have stopped writing for a number of days. I have been laid off. I am on furlough. Just do your homework. That is what the rude reply you might be getting. So always check the profiles of the journalists before sending the email. Just noting that they are writing recently also, like in the previous 2 weeks also they have written some articles. Just make sure of that. And identify the journalist, then curate your content according to the trend. Now the trend is COVID-19. According to the trend, curate your content and send a mail. And another thing to note, important point to note while sending the emails is that don't send like long emails, like an essay, don't send maximum 100 words. You have to just contain your message in that. And you can add some links or you can add some press releases in that, but don't make the emails so long. No journalist has the patience and the time to sit and read all through your mails during these times. So they will be just make marketers like spam and they will just ignore that. And always the general practices like always address them personally. Like don't send like some emails which we get like, hi media. So I'm not media. So I just don't even open my mail. So just address them personally. Start with a personal note. I read you this article. That's why I'm sending this product. Otherwise, that's why I'm sending news. I thought you might be interested to cover this, but just be empathetic with them. Just imagine yourself in their situation, why they want to open their mails. Because each of the journalists, they will be getting 100 to 200 mails per day. It's not mandatory for them to open each and every mail. The subject line should be interesting. The opening remark should be interesting. So if I see a mail like with so many numbers and figures in the subject line itself, it's my character. I just don't even open that. But if it's like something, a question, like always, it's always the questions attract the journalist, like how you can make your lockdown interesting. Okay. So I just want to know how it can be interesting. So, but if it is in the same time, it was like, so a number of people are using, 1,000, 2,000 people are using this app to make their lockdown interesting. I said, okay, good, good for them. But how that spikes the journalist interest always. So always spike the journalist interest, address them personally, and make a personal note and make the email short. And if it is the local or national media, keep the personal touch. Always make a phone call. Like if you don't hear back from them, just do a send a follow-up mail. And if they don't reply with that time, just make a phone call. If their numbers are available, just make a phone call, and that will be it's like a push, slight push, but don't be so aggressive. Just give them a slight push, and there are high chances that their news will get out there. So these are the best practices to media relations practices during this time. And any questions?
Now it is a question and answer session, and you can raise your questions in the chat box.
What is the future of offline business? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So, what is the future of offline business? Offline business is, you mean print media, I guess. So, unfortunately, the situation of print media is slowly declining, and it is not a new thing. It just got aggravated because of COVID-19, I should say. Because the declining of print media started back in 2016 when people were more getting, the new generation I should say, they were getting more into social media and digital media. But still there was a hope that after some time print media will be bouncing back to normal. But the situation has changed drastically by COVID-19. At least for the next 2 years, there is not much future for the print media, I should say. And all the print media companies, locally, nationally, and globally, as you know that, if you check into the paper's size, the pages they have reduced, the printing distribution they have reduced. So it is too early to predict, but at least for 2 years there is not much revival. That is the industry news.
And it was a question from Clapboard. Hope it is clear for you. Is there any question? Ma'am, one more question is there.
Okay, I didn't completely read that. Can you?
Up what extent we can reliable online business and its products? Is any unique policy for this around the world? Is it audible?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay.
Okay. So online businesses, assign businesses or its products. Okay. That is a different, it's e-commerce. It's nothing related with the media as such because as much as I know, like Amazon, BigBasket, these are some of the e-commerce websites we are regularly using, but it has no relation with the media. But as much as I know, I am going to tell that they have to be registered in according to the government policies, according to the trade policies, they have to be registered, and as per their rules only they can do the trade. And if you are talking about the online media, the reliability of the online media, as I said, they also have to be registered into the press agencies, each country's press agencies, like global. If it is in Europe, they have a European press agency, and the US, they have their own agency there, and India also, they have to be AFP, they have to be registered, press agency, they have to be registered. And the news, if somebody is raising an issue against their news provided by them, there are high chances that the website will be shut down. That is how, when the media agencies are looking for the authentic websites like digital media outlets, that is how I mentioned, you can check the domain authority online. So only you rely on digital media outlets about domain authority 70. There only you can recommend your clients. Otherwise, it is not worth to recommend them and to spend their money on there.
Hope it is clear. And is there any more questions?
That's your view on censoring of tweets. That's an interesting question. It's like whose tweets? Like as much as it's a personal thing. Tweets are like not connected with any of the rules of like AFP or press agencies. It's like individual tweets that is coming up all over the Twitter and social media platforms. It's the same goes with the Facebook post and same goes with the Instagram post. Everywhere, social media, it's like individual comments that is coming up. So it's good to censor like in all social media platforms. That is why I said when the COVID-19 started, there was a increasing demand for the social media news, but slowly it declined. The declining, the reason is that everyone started putting their own views and everyone started giving their own comments. There is no authenticity for that. There is no censoring, as you said, there is no censoring for that. That is why the validity of the tweets, validity of the Facebook post, validity of the Instagram post, YouTubers, so many YouTubers are there, their validity all has gone down because there is no censoring. Social media is a platform. If there is a censoring, that is well and good, but how practical it is, it's a global scenario and there is no practical solution for that as of now.
Hope it is clear for Jayakrishnan. Is there any more questions?
What's your advice to newcomers?
Ma'am, there's a question. There's one more question from Sara
Okay.
Sajeev. What's your advice to newcomers in the
Okay,
field?
the best advice I will tell you what my boss has given me when I joined the media agency. Okay, so media it's a glamorous and like very enticing field for everyone, but what we see from outside, it is like it is the outside show. It's the show business. So you will see that it is like too glamorous, but it is one of the highly riskiest and highly challenging jobs because everyone wants to be in the media industry and once you are in the media industry everyone wants to catch your attention, everyone wants your support to promote them, each and everyone, most of them, whoever is come on your way, they will need your support. But how much you can do, how much you need highly critical thinking, you need to be like, you have to have the guts to say no at times, and it's not a show business. Whenever you are like in the most difficult situation, like most challenging situations, you have to have the the mental strength to smile and you have to act like everything is normal. And the another thing is that a small mistake, because media is highly vast industry, and even if it is a small mistake that can cost you much, and that is one thing if you are entering into the media field. And for studying, you better be with the best colleges like Asian Community College of Journalism and best institution that you can apply, and they will train you rigorously to get into this field.
Okay, hope it was clear to Sarah. And is there any other more questions? Ma'am, one more question is there.
Okay.
Sorry, let me check. Can you please suggest some general certification in this platform?
Okay, for the media relations, I guess. So, as much as I know, Google is giving some certifications. That is one of the most valid certifications programs. But for that, you will have to complete 40 days of course, and then you will have to appear for a test also that you can check in the Google website. And another one is this one UK based Muckruck. It's called Muckruck, Muckruck, Muckruck. They are also giving certifications in PR and media relations. These are two of the highly valuable certifications I can suggest as of now. Google, of course, and Muckruck. Muckruck, it doesn't require any timeline. You can complete on your own pace. But Google, it's very strict, and you have to be attending their classes for 40 days, and then you have to appear for the test. Then only you will get the certificate. And both of them are free. You don't have to pay any fees for that.
Okay, hope it is clear to you, Sheetal. Next question is, has your educational background helped you in your career?
Yes, very much. My education, because I studied literature and I started as a writer actually with oneindia.in. And so that is how I got into the media industry because earlier I was thinking to be a teacher. Then I thought my passion was more into writing. Then I got into oneindia.in. 5 years I was a writer. That is how I got explored into the media. I haven't studied media as media. I learned it through my experience actually. So of course, my literature background is something that helped me into my career.
So hope it is clear to the participant, and it will be a good answer for those participants who are from literature background,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Literature has so many options, not only into teaching and content writing. It has so many options actually.
Ma'am, one more question. How does power politics convincing media nowadays?
That's why I
How does
love
power
it.
politics?
Because should I say it openly? Because power politics is affecting media. There is no argument on that. And um, the media is also getting affected by the advertisers also. Sometimes we are, because the main income for the media is their sponsors and their advertisers. So without pleasing them, it is not that easy to survive because everyone has to be paid salaries. There are expenditure for the media people also. It's not a charity service. So whoever is sponsoring, they will have to support them. There is no question on that. So power politics is convincing the media, but it depends on each media outlets how much they can resist on that. Maybe the bigger media outlets they can, they can say no to some of the power politics, but not the lesser ones.
Next question is, what is your advice for the marketing of online media platform in this pandemic situation?
That is
Advice for marketing of online.
marketing of online, yeah. Marketing in the sense, as I said, if the marketing team has a budget, only go for the advertisement and social media spending on the social media platforms. Otherwise, as I said during this session, like try to get in touch with the journalist and try to make them write the relevant news. That is the best advice, because it is not advisable to spend much on your marketing budget for the digital and online media platform. Of course, if your company is allotting you the money, better go for that. And regarding the Facebook and social media ads, if it is a consumer product, it's highly advisable, like some food products or some makeup products. These all are like easily picked up during the on the social media platforms. But if it is like something like relevant news, like some technology news or some business news, these are not much valued on the online media platforms. People are not much trusting such sources on the social media platforms. So digital media and social media, they are two different platforms actually. Social media is much less convincing, much less trusted by the readers, whereas digital media is more preferred for the authenticity and the trustworthiness. So try to get the news out in digital media if it is like something related to technology, business, health, all these industries, the serious industries I would call it, try for digital media. But if it is some consumer goods like fashion, food, and the makeup and the celebrity news, try to go for social media.
Okay, it was a question from Ronia and hope it is clear for you, Ronia. Next is, to what extent we can rely on media?
Okay, so I think Clapboard is asking in relation to the previous one, power politics, I think. So of course you can trust on the media. I will not say that don't rely on the media, because if the media is producing 100% of the news, only 20 to 30 or 40% of it will be like influenced by power politics. The rest of it will be the authentic news. We cannot run a media outlet only based on the advertisements and the power politics. We need, of course, we need support. The media needs support by advertisers and the powerful people. But if readers have to pick that, you have to give authentic content. Without authentic content, nobody is going to read that. For example, if I'm saying, okay, everyone is good, everything is good, good, even the reader, we don't consider the readers to be fools, like readers or the people who view our media to be like ignorant. Even if we don't give any news that doesn't sense, we know that the readers or the viewers, they are easy to quit that media platform. So 60%, 60 to 70% of it will be like authentic content, and only 30% of it will be advertising or influenced by corporates. And as we saw, see some of the major media outlets like, of course, our Kerala magazine Manita, they clearly give it's advertisement content. And other global media outlets, they will give in their byline only, they will give. It's an advertorial. It's not like editorial, it's advertorial. So you can always check that and assess what is correct and what is advertisement.
Okay, next question. It is, can you talk a little bit about a day in the life of a media person prior to this pandemic and now? What is the difference?
Oh, the main difference is that many of the, I'm not telling everyone, some reporters are, some of the media people, they are still on the forefront actually. They are still, they are the barriers in the media sector who are just reporting, and they are like regularly contributing the news. They are the barriers. But most of the media people, I think what they are missing is the action, actually, because most of them will be outside meeting with people and the talking with people and getting the news. But this time everything is confined to the four walls, like lockdown, and the only communication is through the virtual meetings. So that is the main difference in the life of a media person, I guess, prior to the pandemic and after the pandemic, during the pandemic.
Okay, it is clear to AM. Hope it is clear to AM. And okay, next is, what is the role of paparazzi journalism?
Paparazzi journalism is for the public actually. Why journalists are becoming paparazzis? Because there are people who wants to read that news. Otherwise, nobody has. I don't think much people have an interest to peep into other people's lives, like intrude and get scolded at, get shouted at. But there are people who wants to consume that news. That's why journalists are becoming paparazzis, I guess. So it is all to increase the number of viewers and to give the authentic news, to increase the followers. That is the main role of paparazzi journalism, page three journalism, and all this to attract more people, like who wants those kind of news.
Ma'am, next question is from Rajesh KK. So some exaggerated advertisements this time to get customers. What's your opinion about it? Exaggerated advertisements.
Can you specify by saying what is exaggerated advertisement? Because most of the advertisements itself is an exaggeration actually, what is normal. So everyone knows that it's not real. Advertisements, when they see that, they understand that it's not that much real. For example, nobody believes that when Akshay Kumar jumps from a multi-story building, everyone realizes that it's not easy. Like after 20 thumbs up, it is not easy to jump. So Rajesh, can you specify what do you mean? Which is the advertisement, or because most of the advertisements according to the media, they are a bit of exaggerations. Nobody is telling the exact truth in those advertisements. That's why.
I think Rajesh will give the example. Moving
Okay.
to the other question from the clapboard, can we consider that as a cookie news?
Cooking news, okay. Again, regarding to the paparazzi journalism, it's not exactly I will not say it's made up stories. Paparazzi journalism is not made up stories. Of course, they will have authentic information because otherwise anyone can file a defamation suit against the journalist or the media outlet. So no media outlet publishes a news without much data behind them. They will have their own sources, they will have their own proof that this has happened. So paparazzi journalism is not made up stories or cooked up stories. Something would have happened there. Otherwise, of course, the celebrity or whoever is in that story, they can file a defamation suit against them. And if the celebrity or the person who wins the defamation case, the media outlet will have to pay dearly. So nobody will go for that for one column news or like one issue, they will not go for that. They will have their own sources, they will have their own proof that this story had happened.
Okay, ma'am. Next, one more question. It is, what is the difference between publicity and advertisement? Very good question.
Publicity, it's like making. There are two types of publicities, I would say. Like whenever we do this agency, especially for the social media management, that is another sector which we are doing. There is positive publicity and negative publicity. Some people they will build their image because there are creative PR people, public relations people who are there to build their publicity. Like so, one of the questions which we ask, like some of the brands or some of the movies, for example, or some people when they come, you will ask, do you mind you are getting a controversial publicity or do you want a positive publicity? Some people are strong enough to take this controversial and negative publicity. So we'll just build up and people will start arguing on them. And this is kind of creating people talk about that person. That is called publicity, either building a positive publicity or about a negative publicity. Either we will show them as like a great person, he's doing this things, like he's doing a charity, he's doing this for that person, he's doing that for person. Maybe he is generally doing, we have to just promote that. There is nothing new in that. Maybe it's real, and we have to just promote that. But if a person comes without anything, like without much data, without much to promote, then we will create a story on them. Like we will show them as like this person character is like this. Some people will support, some people will not support. We will trigger an argument on that, and it will get circulated. That is called publicity. Advertisement, it's not for people or not for any consumer brands. Advertisement is mostly for like products. We do the advertisement for the products. So it is like you require design, you require what you say, some taglines, some content, some contact details. It's like advertisement is like, as you know, generally, it's like building the awareness. That is the difference. Publicity is creating an image, branding, and advertisement is for creating the awareness, actually.
I hope it is clear for you, Clapboard. And is there any more questions? Hope there is no more further questions from the participants. Thank you all the participants as well as Ms. Danyasri for
Thank you.
giving the question answer session very good, and all the participants and the question asked questions. They were commenting that all the questions were explained in a well manner.
Thank you.
So moving to the vote of thanks, over to Mr. Arjun.
Thank you, Ranjimas. Respected resource person, head of the department, my colleagues, and my dear participants. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for this. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion. This was our second webinar. With immense pleasure, I extend our gratitude to the resource person, Danyasri ma'am, for her highly informative and useful session. You have really enriched our knowledge level, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Next, I would like to thank our HOD, Bisha ma'am, whose proper guidance and inspiration which made this webinar a reality. I also thanks to my dear colleagues for their constant support, and also my dear participants for their patient listening and fruitful interaction. Once again, I thank you all. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.
Okay, feedback forms are available in the comment box. So kindly fill the feedback form. After that, you will be getting the certificate from your registered email ID. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Stay home, stay safe.
Thank you all, and thank you for this interactive session, and thank you to the Commerce Department and UC College for this opportunity. I much appreciate that.
Thank you, ma'am.